Good morning, Sierra Leone. As Slpp endorses President Bio as presidential candidate for the 2023 presidential election, we will be providing an update on the ongoing National Delegates Conference taking place in Bo. 18 African Americans jet into the country after tracing their roots from Sierra Leone for DNA tests. And a Sierra Leonean poet Mohamed Tafsir Fofana will share some of his work with us in the studios this morning. All these and more lined up in this edition of the program Good Morning Sierra Leone. But as all of us know, we are still in the fight against COVID-19, so it's imperative that we keep ourselves healthy. Let us ensure that we adhere to all of the COVID-19 preventive protocols. So let us watch and see what is there for us this morning.
You see where them people here wear the mask and fine? Well, now so you self wear your mask. Cover your nose and you must all time where you dey near other person.
I am back, and the program you're watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. We'll be informed or reminded that we shall be joining our outside broadcasting that is covering the ongoing Delegates Conference of the Royal Slpp in Bo. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, and I am Sheku Smaila. Well, as you may have heard in the news, the Sierra Leone People's Party, Slpp, has nominated President Julius Bio as the party's presidential candidate for the 2023 presidential election at the ongoing Delegates Conference taking place in Bo. Let us join our own Hamose for more.
With great honor and humility, I accepted to lead the party, and I made only one promise then, and that is the promise I'll make to you again today, that when I lead the Slpp, I lead for victory. Nobody knows the APC better than I do. I've beaten them before, I've beaten them again, and I will beat them again. That is what political party is about, to win elections. And when you have a winning candidate, why go searching elsewhere? So today, with great pride and honor, I accept the leadership, and I want to assure each and every one of us, when we have the opportunity to talk to you again, I'll be talking about discipline and cohesion within the party. That is all we need to make it in 2023. I will, and I have provided the quality of leadership necessary to register us as a nation on the international scene. We have done things to change the narrative locally, way beyond what we had put in our manifesto. And I promise again that there are great things in store to make our party the most electable, the most palatable, the winning party for years to come. Again, great humility, I accept the position of flag bearer. We are a great team when we are together, and therefore with great humility I accept to be the flag bearer of the best thing that ever happened to this nation, the Sierra Leone People's Party. But a great honor for me, the best thing that ever happened to this nation, the Sierra Leone People's Party. 3 times. The first time when I went in, the unlimited program. They're not good for themselves. The second time, they're not going to do so. Now when they make it of performance on the table, when nobody no praise. With the Barbadian. They say they get 99 countries also. 2012, I think list them. They pull all the countries to do. 2018, 1900. 1900. And I make I can tell them before they say, we are going to mercy. We make them now Omoduba. So, now we don't come for the conference, we need for elect, we want the way to run the party so that we will get the party who will elect. We will not for the consensus for come together. And they tell me that these are the best family in this country. How many people have with Meko and the best family? First this family scattered, the country not scattered. And we know they allow that for her. We the big one then. However, the plaba hot stay now for cool and down. Now, tomorrow, by the grace of God, we don't get all we leadership. No, so. Then Chamoto, we don't like the company. Then good delegate to, then bad delegate to. Chairman, take the champions, then we stitch the party together. Oja for knock APC down. 2023. No second round. Chairman, take the champions, then we stitch the party together. Oja for knock APC down. 2023. No second round. Thank you so much. For breaking a leader 3 times. Another disappointment. Another disappointment.
Well, that was how it happened yesterday in Bo at Bo Stadium, where no less a person than the President Julius Maada was re-nominated or endorsed openly by delegates to lead the party into the 2023 presidential elections. Well, the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Well, as you have heard in the news, 15 African Americans have flown into the country, and this is the 5th batch to have come to trace their roots in Sierra Leone through DNA tests. Well, amid the zeal to come back home, they have registered their commitments to invest in the country, well, in various sectors. But in the studio to take this discussion further, I have Alia Ekago. He is the travel director of Tourism is Live Tours. Well, they are among people facilitating the return of these African Americans who have traced their roots to Sierra Leone. Well, good morning and welcome to the program, Alia.
Thank you very much.
I know it hasn't been easy at all, trying to facilitate the return or the homecoming of African Americans. As all of us know, Sierra Leone was very strategic, in the transatlantic slave trade. one of the biggest or largest ports, for slaves. Was in this country at the Bonds Island and some other places. Now let us know, the processes that led to the identification and now the return, of these compatriots back home.
Thank you very much, Sheku. Like you said, Sierra Leone is one of the biggest of the 40 slave forts across the African coast. So as a result of that, over the years, Sierra Leone has not been benefiting from our people that are taken back to the States, and these people have invested a lot in America and other parts of the world. So it is high time Sierra Leone benefit. So what we do like man hunting. So we put the news out there, and people are willing to go and take the DNA, and then after the DNA will tell them they are from Sierra Leone, and we have adverts going on trying to attract them to come back to Sierra Leone and be part of national development.
Now, this is the fifth batch coming to Sierra Leone tracing the virus through DNA test. Now let us know those who have come before. All of us were here, we discussed, and they promised that they were going to return. And once they return, they are going to invest in various sectors. Has that happened?
Yes.
If it hasn't, what are the reasons?
So it has happened, even though in a very snail pace. As you know, we had the COVID. So as a result, it is very slow. But we have about, for us, tourism is life, we started this program. So among the 60 people that we are able to attract, about 11 of them have opened companies in Sierra Leone. One was in agriculture. They just finished their harvest. So that one is one success story. And we have others who want to do mining. They have successfully registered to do gold mining. And we have people who want to do solar energy, and Kenya is one of them. He's here to officially register his company. That's why he's back. Rakim come back to register his company, and he has a group of people that want to do water and they want to do solar energy. So the water project is for the school. As you know, most of our schools don't have water. Sorry, we are going to start in Freetown first,
okay,
because Freetown has the highest problem, the highest crisis when it comes to water. But we are going to start with the schools. We're starting with 30 schools to have borehole in the schools, and this borehole will be connected to solar energy. So, okay, and then there will be a tank. So the solar will generate electricity, because there will be a submersive machine down to, and then the solar will power it, and then the water will go to the tank. So the school kids will be able to have access to clean water.
When they return, what normally happens is that they are taken to different regions, to say, okay, your route is from the north, from the south, from the east, as the case may be. So how do you go about identifying, where these people actually, if I may say, put it this way, hailed from?
That's a very, very good one. Thank you very much. So what we do, we work with the local authorities, because when you think of the custodian of every community, we have the paramount chief and the chiefs here. So we go and have a meeting with the chiefs, and then they call the other local chiefs. So we'll give them the names. And when we give them the names, I don't know what they do, but they normally go and come back to us, and they say, this, we think based on our consultation are from Bo. So they have like this jiggy.
Okay, so they conjure.
Well, sort of. Okay. But that's what I've seen them doing. So they will call the name, if they conjure and all.
What if, for example, a particular chief, because everybody wants a development in his or her area. What if that chief probably want to be, mischievous in a way? Okay, we know these are just those, and I want the investment in my community, in my chiefdom. What if it is manipulated?
Well, I trust them. I trust the process, and we believe that they're doing the right thing, because so far, what has happened over the 2 or 3 years when we started doing this, the people that we say from Kenema or from Bo or from Makeni, when they get to those localities, they'll find people that have connection, that have that semblance of one of their relatives back home. Okay. And that connection will just come and it sparks. I remember the last time we went to Bo, there is this lady who was here for the mental health. She has registered fully, and they have rented an apartment at Wellington Street. That lady that wanted to start.
Yes.
So they have paid for the building right now. So as we went to Bo, she saw somebody, and then she went to this lady. By the time they started chatting, the lady said, "I have a gift for you." The lady went to her room and come back. When she came out with a dress, you can't believe it. When that lady Mia put on that dress, same size, same everything. You know, this lady had prepared that dress for a sister who is in Kenema, and that dress for her sister incidentally matched this other lady, the African American, and that sister in Kenema is resembled like this other sister.
Okay.
So it happens.
All right, thank you so much. Alia Cargo, the travel director, tourism is life at all. Well, this is one of the groups actually facilitating the return of these African Americans, who have traced their roots back to Sierra Leone. But we have one of them who is here, one of the returnees, Abdul Rakin Kalik. He is actually the head of a delegation for these African Americans returning back home. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
I know it wasn't, a short journey, tracing the roots back to Sierra Leone. Now, let us know how you went through that particular journey, and finally you've identified, you've traced your roots back to Sierra Leone.
Well, it's been a long journey. Most of us that's in America, we have a void in our spirit because we know we have African blood, but we're not sure which country we came from. So we walk around with a void, and a lot of us want to fill that void. So me being that type of person, I said, let me start doing a little research. Now that we have modern technology, you can trace your DNA. Plus you can trace your family lineage back. So now, at this point, you got 2 ways of tracing it back. And what they use to trace your DNA back is marriage certificates, death records, census, what else would they use? Marriage licenses. So you can trace it back in the Americas, and it ends at a certain point. So when it ends, right, say let's say it ends in the early 1800s, right, then you could coincide that with when we left here. Okay, so at a certain point the history cuts off. So the other part of that is coming over here. So if we trace it back as far as we can in America, and then we come here to try to trace it back to as far as we can get it. So at that point is where we have a sort of a disconnect, because some of the records were kept, but majority of them wasn't. So these are some of the things that people are doing on this side and on that side.
So were you actually missing home? With the fact that you had already known that you have a root in Africa, but you did not know, which part of Africa, and you are in the Americas. Were you missing home?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, it's a such thing as ancestral memory. Okay, it's passed down through your DNA, through your genes. So whatever happened to my ancestor, let's say 8 generations ago, it's in me. Now I can't identify exactly what's that yearning or the inquisitiveness of where I came from, but it's in my spirit, and I think that's my ancestors saying, hey, look this way, look over here, because what gives us that incentive to just say, okay, we could say maybe we come from South America, but people before me have did a lot of DNA research, a lot of research in general to try to trace it back to at least West Africa. So we had already knew that part, but now the actual country we didn't know. DNA ancestry helps that fill in the blanks.
So now that you've returned, this is the second time coming,
Actually, this is my third time.
Okay, third, because I remember the last time you came, you were able to identify your roots, but in the north also, or in the south. Yes, in the south.
Mm-hmm.
There was this colorful ceremony where you were named in a way. I know because your album name from here.
Yes.
Okay. So let us know how you are relating with those you've identified as members of your relatives.
Well, the way I'm looking at things is where, okay, it's a void in information. A lot of folks are thinking, okay, they can trace it back so far on the American side, but when it comes to the African side, a lot of folks don't think that they can trace it. So I'm kind of facilitating that, helping people understand that we can trace it back on the African side, okay? So now that people are coming back, we're looking to kind of leave America. A lot of folks are looking to leave. They want to retire. They want to come back home. They have that yearning in their spirit. They want to come home, but they want to try to pinpoint exactly, or as close as they can, in approximation, what country their ancestors were taken from to do development, schools. We got doctors that's here. We have pilots. We have lawyers. I mean, we have a gamut of professions in the Americas. And a lot of these folks are looking to retire, and some of them semi-retirement, and they want to come here to invest, but they want to try to pinpoint as close as they can to what areas that we came from to do this development. So that's what I'm trying to facilitate.
So now, is this a prophecy that has actually come to pass? People had, predicted that there was going to be a time when African Americans, be tracing their roots to where they originated. So is this, a prophecy, coming to pass?
Yeah, like I still sort of knew this is like what, the 5th group.
Okay.
So it's still sort of young, and we have to do a better job of getting the word out. Okay. Most people are the yearning is so strong that they're just going anywhere in Africa. So you have people going to Senegal, you have people going to the Gambia, you have people going to Ghana, Tanzania. So they're not saying, okay, let me trace it back on this side. They're just saying, look, I'm so ready to leave the West that I'm just going to go to any African nation and just settle. And what we're saying is, okay, that's fine, but could you please at least do your ancestry to identify approximate what area you come from, and then come to that area to do your investment, to do your retirement, to build, to interact. If you want to serve as far as religiously, or you just want to give, you want to volunteer, come here and do that. So we have to do a better job to get the information out to the people. So it's still a young program.
But now, you've been in the Americas, you've established, you've got children, you've got some have even got, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, as this may be. Would they be coming also to see where their fathers, their mothers actually originated?
Yes. The thing is, what I'm seeing now is, I call it the next migration. Right now, it's mostly, this spirit is in the older people. So it's in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and 70s. Have the greatest yearning to come back. So we are like the pioneers, okay? So once our family left here, right, we're the first ones, some of us are the first ones to come back. So we are like that pioneer in our family, right? The explorers in our family. So it's up to us to come explore the land, meet the people, interact with the culture, right? Make good connections and see how we can be of service. Then these individuals go back to their family and extended family and say, hey, look, the coast is clear, it's safe there, let's go back. And so now it's basically come visit first, maybe multiple times to visit, so we can see what the need is. Because at this point, I mean, we can come in from the outside, but where is actually need? Where can we actually put ourselves where we could be of the most service? So we have to do maybe several visits in order to establish that. You can't do it on the first, second, or third visit. You see what I mean?
So have you been to Bones Island?
Yes.
Okay. So what is your impression about Bones Island?
It's very emotional. It's very emotional. It's almost like if you go there and just close your eyes and just be still, you can almost feel the atmosphere during those times. Your spirit actually speaks to you when you're on these particular lands, because the horrors that took place in these places, they have that land, because Mother Earth is a living organism as we are. So it has memory. So when we're standing there on that ground, if you close your eyes and just be still, you will be able to go back and see those horrors, and you get very emotional. So then that gives you a conviction to really come back and be of service to your people, because what other way can you sort of right this historical wrong other than representing your people well and coming back and being of service?
All right, and thank you so much. And he is a head of delegation of African Americans who have returned. They have traced their roots back to Sierra Leone, and he's an Abdul Rakim and colleague. Now, over to you again, Alia Ikawo, Travel Director, Tourism is Life Tours. Now, I know that there are lots of sites that we like to take, these of our brothers too, for them to know exactly how things are happening here. Probably, well, it is like domestic and international tourism in a way. But let us know, areas you've identified, because I know the most popular place is Bones. Everybody wants to go to Bones Island. But apart from Bones Island, let us know the other areas you've identified, areas you think areas of they should know.
Thank you. Actually, this is a tourism program, and in tourism is everyone should benefit. We have hotels right across the country, like in Freetown, for example. We ensure that they have an in-depth city tour, so they have to see the monuments and relics and explore the culture, the history, and the bustling city of Freetown. And after Freetown, we will take them to Makeni, and when we get to Makeni, they will do the naming ceremony in Makeni, and we take them to the key touristic sites in Makeni, Usumil, Menail, Roland's Beach, and all these.
So in other words, you're saying, this particular set of badge, all of them are from the north?
No, we have a few of them from the north. We have another set from Bo. We have another set from Kenema. So we'll be visiting Makeni, from Makeni, Bo, from Bo, we're in Kenema. And after Kenema, we'll come back.
So when are they going to secure or acquire their Sierra Leonean passport? Because that is the norm. That is what happens normally when they come. They are taken to a person, the first gentleman of the land, and after which the immigration department will now come in, and their passports are actually processed. So let us know how long is that going to take.
So we'll do all the tour, and after the tour we return to Freetown, and then is the time when His Excellency the President will issue them with the passport, because he's only the sole person that has that moral right to grant citizenship to people.
So now, are we expecting more to come?
We are
from time to time.
A very, very big number in April. Very big number in April. And like for us, what we are doing, we're scouting professionals. You know, when we started this program, we have a vision, we have an identity, we have a direction. So we are scouting professionals, people that are going to contribute meaningfully to the economy, meaningfully in skill development, meaningfully in transforming Sierra Leone. So because we don't want to bring people, they get their passport and go. Okay. That's why we have footages of what our people are doing. So now we have started tracking what they're doing, their progress. So come April, we'll be able to tell you.
You're saying that you are actually targeting or tracking professionals. What if that person is not too much of a professional, but that person has a root in Sierra Leone, and the person is willing to come?
We will welcome that person, because in tourism, the only field in the world without discrimination is tourism. You cannot say this is Chinese or this is American or this should not come to your country. So likewise, when you are doing this kind of program, yes, we are looking for people of high skill, people of high education, people of finance, invest, but also that you can be a student. Yes, you have potential, we can bring you in. You have other people who just want to do this for self-actualization. Yes, we can bring you in. But what we're saying, we want to bring people that can meaningfully contribute. Because even if you do not have enough money, even if you do not have enough skills or qualification, there is a way you can contribute to national development.
Now, let us talk about the screening aspect. You know, we know over the years, people have come to Sierra Leone, they will secure our passports, who are not Sierra Leoneans actually. And at the end of the day, when they are caught, you know, probably in some form of antisocial activities, but they are identified as Sierra Leoneans, but they are not actually Sierra Leoneans. So how do you go about the screening process?
That's a very good one, because for us, we want to make sure that anybody that's come through this program is pure Sierra Leonean through their DNA. So the very first thing is the DNA. They apply through African Ancestry or 23andMe. 23andMe is one of the most authentic DNA company in the States. The FBI, the CIA are using them, but we are using African Ancestry too. So as a result of that, you find out that when we get the DNA, the person will apply through to the government of Sierra Leone. The government of Sierra Leone, through the wisdom of Honorable Minister Memnat Pratt, they have set up SOPs and guidelines as to what you should possess before you are qualified to come for this program. One, you should have your American passport. Two, you should have your DNA linking you to Sierra Leone, and that DNA has to be authenticated, because the government of Sierra Leone, through the ministry, they will authenticate this DNA certificate. The next stage is you must have two referees from the states that they will contact to know about you if you have any kind of thing. Not only stop there, they have a background check whereby the police department from your locality should write in favor of you. So that background check is conducted. The police department will write about the person, because we don't want to bring any Jack and Jill that might be wishy-washy characters. So all this is carefully done through our support with the help of the Ministry of Tourism. We have a defined program now that we use to screen these people.
All right, thank you so much. Here is Alia Ikabo, Travel Director. Tourism is Life Tours, an organization that is facilitating the return of African Americans. Well, Sierra Leone, we've got 5 now. Batch 5 has just arrived, and it is 15, right? 18, okay. And then they'll be going to various parts of this country where they've been able to trace their roots. Thank you so much and for your updates this morning. And the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, where we are going for a very short break, and I will be right back.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done, and its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base, and this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spice palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa, and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base,
Ghanaian original taste.
You're watching the SLBC on Channel 31, the authentic voice of Sierra Leone.
I am back, and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Now, let us talk poetically. Mohammed Tafsi Fofana uses his poetic skills as a tool to speak on burning issues like corruption, environmental and social problems. Tafsi Fofana, as a poet, writer and debater, is honored as Frabi College Top 10 Best Writers in 2020, as well as Anti-Corruption Top 5 Creative Writers 2020, among others. Well, Tafsi is here with us in the studios. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Now, you've used your poetic skills to highlight societal problems, talking about environment. All of us know right now that environment is one topic that is being dealt with very seriously. Quite recently, there was this summit, the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention in Glasgow, in the United Kingdom. And some of these issues, like for example, you also write on corruption. Tell us in the first place, what is the motivation behind, some of the things you do?
Well, thank you so very much for having me. So the motivation behind what I do, it's the society itself. I found myself. As a poet, I am inspired by what I observe and what actually inspires me to write. So if, for example, I see corruption engulfing the lives of people, not just Sierra Leoneans, Africans, and any part of the world, I am moved or motivated to write. And it's something I have been doing way back since 2009. Yeah, so that is how I came into it. And mostly I spend time with nature. I am sometimes at the beach, different places, finding things that motivates me And of course, I love being at the social places where people discuss about their problems. I listen to them, and for me, the best way I think to revert to it is writing.
Okay, yes, through writing, you try to address societal problems. But now, let us talk about corruption. All of us know that there is a war against corruption, as declared by the president. And all of us know that as a country, one of the things that is actually, delaying progress is corruption. So let's just have something from you, a particular poem that you wrote about corruption. If you can just provide us some few lines.
Yes, there was one I wrote, The Common Enemy. The Common Enemy, of course, is one of my poems that focuses on corruption, and it says, when I sit to write poems about corruption, I sit to see a common enemy that devours my nation. And I actually can't remember all the lines, but I sent the video yesterday, yes, to SLBC. So, but there you find poems that, words or things that revolve on politicians, teachers, parents, because to me it's not just about politicians themselves that engages in corruption. Corruption can be perpetrated by any individual. So,
but most times what happens is that those at the top are the ones
yes,
who
yes,
are,
of course.
those at the top are the ones who are mostly accused of corruption, forgetting that even those at the bottom, there are times people involved in corrupt practices inadvertently. They don't even know that what they're doing is corruption. So how do you try to highlight some of those things that we normally ignore?
Well, there comes in writing. As a poet, I observe it and I try to write about the corruption itself. I have definitely written different poems about corruption, but like I said, because I have written dozens of poems, so I don't remember all the lines.
Okay, I know that corruption is a very serious enemy, especially in a country like ours, where we are trying, to develop. Now, let us talk about issues on environmental protection. We know that without, a proper environmental protection, development will be never sustainable. So let us just give us a few lines, on a poem you've written on environmental protection.
Yeah, there is this poem I also wrote about the mudslide. Yeah, too bad that I have not got all the lines, because they asked me yesterday to send it to the
okay.
just like
why okay, now let's talk about the poems you've written so far. Poems on corruption, social issues, environmental protection. Are you normally selective in writing? Do you kind of weigh the issues and you decide to say, okay, this is what I'm going to write on?
Well, I am actually not that type of poet that focuses on a particular element of. I like different kinds of poetry, but of course I try to discipline myself to focus on metaphysical poems that has to do, of course, with my surrounding, that has to do with nature. But of course I do narrative poetry, I do ballad, I do romantic poems and all of that. But definitely most of the poems that I have written, it's unavoidably things that has to do with society, things that has to do with human activities. Of course, I remember back then in 2015 when I wrote a poem titled The Unforgettable Ebola. In fact, that was the time I was recognized by the international journalist Hassan Aruni as a poet. I never knew I am actually a poet. Like I said, when I started writing poetry in 2012, in 2009, and yes, so I never knew until then I started writing. So the unforgettable Ebola, there is a line there that says, you Ebola, are you not told the civil war we face and how it has jeopardized our lives? Go where you please your kindred spirits. So there are different things I try to highlight there. It's like portraying the Ebola as a human. It's like yes. So I try to ensure that the best way I'll be able to drive Ebola away and this of the COVID-19 to speak to the people is definitely through writing. And of course, I do not just write in English, I also write in Creole. There's a poem recently I wrote about the COVID-19. That poem in fact is in Creole.
Okay, it's in Creole. And what did you write?
Yes, I try to sensitize the people that you tranga is bobo where business fiti fata and you where don't block you is and say corona not to me business, well corona now with all business. Now in kill me anti-sale where a refuse for cover the market with like something like that about malaria. Okay. So you have different ways I just handle it, but because I am too active into that genre of literature, I do not fix much time again to ensure I memorize it. Mostly I just memorize it if I'm invited to perform the poems. Yes.
Okay. Now you've contributed in your own way, in solving societal problems, because the thing is, a problem identified is a problem half solved. How much do you popularize these poems that you write?
Yeah, well, I have been so supportive, I must say, with my friends. I do have my Facebook page, my Facebook account, and of course my Instagram and other social media platforms. But I have a brother, we started school back at high school level. So he reached out to me and said, I see you become so active in this work. So let me try to ensure I establish a website for you where you'll be publishing these poems. And so far it has been good. I have got the opportunity to meet veteran poets in this country like the Mr. Umar Farouk to say they have all been instrumental. Madam Elizabeth Kamara, head of English language unit. So they read my poems, they critique it, and I listen and take it accept it in good spirit and try to correct the errors there. Because one thing I believe for me as a writer, writing is my own platform to express my voice.
Okay, writing is your own platform to express your voice. Now, Topsy, you've taken part in several competitions, right?
Yeah.
And you've been winning, in so far as your presentations are concerned, trying to captivate minds, attention. One thing is that is this just something that you have passion for a short while, or you intend actually staying in poetry for a very long time?
Poetry never dies in me.
Okay.
It lives with me. And I tell people, for me, poetry is everywhere. I see poetry anywhere I go. And I am ready to take it to the next level. I never knew how I came into poetry. One thing I know, I came into poetry through writing and reading. When I was separated from my mom in 2008, I went to Guinea. I was in Conakry. I used to spend the night writing letters to my mom. I doubt if she ever received those letters even. But I was just writing, And sometimes my brother will come and say, man, you spend so much time writing, mom is not even receiving your letter. That was the time I moved from writing letter to my mom and now start expressing my feeling in poetry. So each time I go for programs, they will ask me to recite a poem. I write poetry, but like I said, I never knew it was a talent. Till 2015, I realized it's a talent. There is no, definitely a week cannot pass if I don't write poetry. It is the medicine to my own melancholy, to my own sadness. When I'm sad, I either read poetry or I write poetry.
So it's like it is your own, diversional therapy.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Especially when it comes to spoken word poetry now. Because people now say poetry is bored. I believe the theme that we are written in the ancient time, in the days of Emily Dickinson, Wordsworth, and other veteran poets, is the same thing that we are writing today in this contemporary society. The difference is the language, the structure, because now their own generation and this generation is not the same. Now, if you take a work of William Shakespeare to read it, you will find it complex to understand the theme, the message. So what we do now is to ensure that our own generation, let's take poetry from the page and bring it to the stage.
Okay.
So it's about spoken word poetry now.
Alright, okay, Tapsil. Thank you so much. Here is Mohammed and Tapsil Fofana. He is a poet. He has written several poems addressing or speaking to social problems, environmental problems, and also corruption. Like you've heard him say. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best as you continue in this thing that you had a passion for, which is poetry. Thank you so much. Well, I still have in studio one of the African Americans. Well, he is actually the head of the delegation, and he's Abdul Rakin Khalid. Now, Mr. Khalid, let us talk about the areas you are really interested in, investing in Sierra Leone.
Well, we have several people that's looking to do several things. In my business in the city of Chicago, I'm in transportation logistics. So as I'm going throughout the country, I look at things through logistics. I look at the arteries, or what we call streets, the junctions, the streets, the condition of the streets, and then getting people and products, packages from one point to another point. So I'm looking at it from that aspect. Then we also have certain folks that's looking to do things with water. We're looking at people doing maybe business. That's a big thing that we talked about last night at dinner. Like, how can we make the biggest impact, right? But coming from the outside. So we're dealing with one aspect of coming here, but now we're looking at things from the outside. So how can we come to this country and provide the biggest impact? And we came up with the suggestion of maybe an incubator process. So in the States, we have associated through junior colleges that you can participate in a program which is free. It's a non-for-profit. And we can take it from an idea. So basically our local brothers and sisters can come in with an idea, and we'll take it from business plan, projections, profit loss statement, income statements, and then get it to us a workable idea, take it out of their head and put it down on paper. And then once they have a workable plan, then we'll have them bring that plan to an investor. And then for a percentage of the business, help this person get into business in an area where it can provide the most impact. Because us coming from the outside, we have ideas of what we think that will make the greatest impact. But who would know better that can provide the greatest impact than people and brothers and sisters from here? So these are some of the things that we're kind of mulling over in our minds. But the first thing is to be able to come several times to visit, so we can at least understand politics, what's the religious structure, what's the transportation, what's as far as legal. There's a lot of things that we have to kind of learn as a crash course quickly. So it's going to take several visits to us to really get this thing down packed, but we're working on it.
All right, thank you so much. He is the head of delegation, African Americans. This is now the 5th batch that has arrived in the country. We are here trying to identify areas they can invest. and he is Abdul Rakim. Thank you so much and for your updates this morning.
Thank you.
Well, that is how we say goodbye. It has been Good Morning Sierra Leone, which came to you live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. Many thanks to the entire production team, especially producer Joseph Stanley. Well, I am Sheku Smiler, but before I go, let me just inform you or remind you that we shall be joining our outside broadcasting in Bo, where the ruling SLPP is having its National Delegates Conference. Well, just yesterday, the president was again nominated to lead the party into the 2023 presidential election, where he went unopposed, and it was overwhelmingly endorsed unanimously, if you like, to lead the SLPP into the 2023 election. Well, many thanks to our viewer and also listener. I am Sheku Smara once again saying goodbye and have a wonderful day.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding palm fruit. All I need is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. My soup is done, and its preparation, it is not difficult at all. Nkulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take 2 ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Nkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Nkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, meat fufu flour, shito, pisab and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Nkulenu palm soup base,
Ghanaian original taste.
Mm-hmm.